Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the Council on Future Conflict, episode 612. We're talking about Iran struggle continues and the Venezuelan cleanup. You know, we're in aftermath mode on Venezuela. We spent quite a bit of time over the weekend talking about that, and we had all kinds of interesting information shake loose after the actual raid itself. So we'll be getting into that, and then the main story for today is Iran continues, and you know I think if you look at if you ask any of us on the council when this thing first kicked off, we assumed it would have been over by now, and the fact that not only is it not over, but it's getting bigger, and in some areas, you know, the protesters, or I guess revolutionaries, you could call them now, are having discernible success. I think that's telling. So we will dive into that today. And, you know, we got some other stuff to talk about. Joe, how you doing, brother?
You know, I am well and good. A busy weekend, but a good weekend. We made a lot of progress on camp infrastructure over the weekend, and we're getting ready for everyone to come in for class this week. And we've got classes like through the end of the month. So we got a lot of stuff going on. So
yeah, that's great, man. It's good seeing the successes kind of pull in. So and that's such a great facility that you guys got there. It'll be better when it gets warmer, but
yeah, we actually met with a guy about doing the remodel of the other building on a much lower cost variety rather than the $3 million version. And we're really looking forward to moving forward, making some actual progress on it. Although Kay wants me to leave the building empty because it's perfect for CQB training as it is. But
yeah, right. Especially that back part, you know, like where there's all those twisty, turny corners and all everything.
Those different corridors and every possible room.
And the back stairs. Yeah.
Yes, there was apparently an epic airsoft battle fought on the stairs during the last CQB class. And the stairs are just littered with airsoft BBs still. So.
Coming across the wire right now, suspect arrested after attack on Vice President J.D. Vance's Ohio home.
Interesting. Well, I figured that was the inevitable outcome of this weekend's activity.
Yeah, somebody's big mad over that. Definitely the communists are big mad. I mean, that you know, guys.
Karen O mentions Robert Barnes, and I'm going to tell you, Barnes has it completely wrong last night. The U.S. District Court does not care how a suspect appears before it. They don't care if you kidnap them in a foreign country. They have a warrant. They want him in front of them. They don't care how they got there.
Yeah,
that's been my favorite thing about the shrieking Lulberts. Has to be the whole. But we kidnapped a foreign leader. No, we served a warrant. I don't. Why?
I mean,
what?
But I'm assured that he was assassinated. That actually wait a second. Hey, no, in fact, he was Mirandized, and then he was taken into custody by law enforcement officials. Huh.
Even at that, they literally don't care. I mean, you know that rendition exists, right? They say, hey, we have a warrant for this guy. He's in a country we don't have an extradition treaty with. Well, we send 4 contractors, and the person eventually shows up at the consulate, gets put on a plane. No one cares how he got before the judge at all.
Yeah. And that's happened more than once.
Yeah.
How about you, Watcher? How you doing?
Well, Scott, it's been a very entertaining 24 hours. I can tell you, actually, for the whole weekend, Scott's been very entertaining. But we I guess it was about 48 since the last time we met because the special episodes that we did this weekend. I've been batting nearly 1,000. I don't know exactly what happened last night, but either it was the best pump fake I've seen in a long time, or shit happened that we haven't got told about yet. And I'm leaning towards the second one. And then lo and behold, in the middle of that, some shitbag does like the dumbest imaginable thing. And it's we'll get there. It's glorious. I'm excited.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of the stuff that happened that we can talk about, and there's a lot of stuff that we think is happening that we can talk about. But ultimately it'll be some time before some of the behind the scenes shit starts to take out.
Hey, how about Vivek picking up the endorsement of the Somali Chamber of Commerce in the least predictable news ever?
Do we have news on there that Tim is expected to drop out here within 2 hours?
Old Timmy Waltz.
That's Tim Waltz. That's not Vivek. So
no, I know it's not Vivek, it's Tim. And I didn't see it in the notes, but I have to bring this video. Hold on, I gotta grab it because it was probably the funniest thing I've seen in a while. Oh, here we are. So Nick Sorter is our man on the ground.
We already talked about this before you came in, but yes, that's very funny. Put it up there. Let everyone enjoy.
Here you go. So we're to our man on the ground, Nick. Nick, take it away.
Good morning from outside the Minnesota governor's mansion. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning. Trump rally music blasting in the background as all eyes are on the chimney of the Minnesota governor's mansion, awaiting for the smoke to rise, which means that a new retard has been selected. Tim Walz expected to drop out of the gubernatorial race after the expose of...
Now, I do think that sitting outside the governor's mansion blaring loud music is something we don't need to be doing. I think that's because we're not happy about it when the other side does it out in front of the Border Patrol's hotels or ISIS hotels. So we shouldn't be encouraging the same behavior.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. It's no skin off my chin, but you're right. It's a difference between not complaining about it and not encouraging it. And so I think you're probably on to something there, Joe. What I think is interesting is just Tim Walz has completely lost the plot. I mean, he went from VP candidate to he might be the one sharing a cell with Maduro.
Yeah, actually, I want to make that prediction right now. I think that there is a 0% chance Tim Walz would have dropped out if the people higher up in the party than him hadn't already seen the charges that are heading down the pipeline for him, as well as the evidence attached to those charges. I think he's going down big. I think it's going to be more than just the conspiracy and to defraud the U.S. government, this billions and billions of dollars. I think that all gets tied directly back to him. I think they're probably having conversations with a certain Vance Bolter. And you can tell that that's a touchy subject with him, because the second that, look, when what's his face, that journalist that dropped, Nick Shirley, dropped all this stuff, he was posting cat videos for a week, and then suddenly Shirley comes out and says, "Hey, why don't you tell us about Vance Bolter and why he said you told him to go murder this woman?" And it all makes complete sense and lined it all up. Suddenly, Tim comes out and is all full of bluster and wants to make threats and insults. We call that a clue.
Yeah, evidence is what I'd call it. But yeah, so I think we'll be seeing a lot more of that story in the near future. And I'll be honest with you, that's just one part of the. Joe, when this whole Somali story first broke, I mean, I was right there with you. Show me, right? Like, let me see some people going to jail. But the more and more and more and more and more that keeps getting uncovered, like I was saying before the show, this is becoming like a giant elephant-sized problem, and the DOJ is basically like they thought it was a small bump in the distance, but as they got closer, it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They realized that it was really far away. And now that they're next to it, it's fucking massive. And it's going to take them a while to digest it, even if they do everything the way we, in our fantasy world, think that they should do. So it'll be interesting to see when they start bringing charges to people on the corruption thing. But that may be one of those kind of things they hold back until they have it all set and ready. And then it's like, we're going to charge 500 people with corruption or something like that. It should be more like 50,000 people with corruption and deport them. But, what do I know?
Yeah, but then somebody inevitably goes, hey, wait a minute. How many lawyers do we have available right now to try cases?
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we jump into it today?
No, story one's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So this is one we haven't really focused that much on. I've mentioned it in passing. Basically, UAE and Saudi Arabia were generally allies in previous years during the Yemen civil war, but as things have kind of died down on the offensive front with the Houthis, they have really kind of started to turn on each other on the allied camp to the point where Saudi Arabia bombed UAE forces within the country of Yemen. Saudi airstrike on the Yemeni port has triggered tensions with the UAE and will have an impact on Yemen's future. Saudi Arabia's strike on the McCullough port triggered tensions with its partner in the Arab coalition in Yemen and Gulf Arab neighbor UAE. The coalition spokesperson said 2 ships entered the port of Mukalla, carrying more than 80 vehicles and containers of weapons and ammunition destined for the Southern Transition Council, without informing Saudi Arabia or internationally recognized Yemeni government. There are serious differences between the two allies in Yemen, and now it is at peak, perhaps a turning point that could impact Yemen. The Yemeni government has lost control of events following the military escalation between Saudi Arabia and UAE in Hadramaut governorate, where Mukalla lies. In December, the Presidential Leadership Council, which is divided into 2 factions, each loyal to one party in the conflict. The difference has been simmering for years away from the spotlight. Saudi Arabia and the UAE are key members of the Arab military coalition in Yemen, formed to confront the Houthis, who took control of the capital Sana'a by force in 2015. So, I mean, this is one of those kind of things, right? Politics through other means. This is essentially internal Arab Gulf politics between the UAE and Saudi Arabia. MBS has taken a firm hand in this. Joe, how do you see it?
Tribal people gonna tribal people.
Yeah.
That's exactly what the problem is with this. With the Presidential Leadership Council, is one's supported by one tribe, one's supported by another. The larger nations that support those tribes are going to do what they do to support their own tribal people, and this is the outcome. I'm not surprised by it. This has been something that's kind of been escalating for quite a while, but that part of the world is very tribal.
I'm going to give you guys a hot take on this. Despite the human casualties that probably occurred, I'm sure they occurred during the bombing, the biggest loss were all those Toyota Land Cruiser pickup trucks that could now be imported into the U.S. It's a sad day for Toyota fans everywhere.
Fair
call. Yeah.
Let's see. Within the Yemeni political landscape, the quick developments and successive events are pushing Yemen into a new phase of an internal war amongst political and military components that make up the legitimate government, with new internal fighting amongst many armed factions. It's also taking focus away from the Houthi rebellion in the north, which controlled Sana'a, the most populous provinces in Yemen. The main goal for the legitimate government of the Yemen and the Saudi-led Arab coalition was to confront the Houthis. Now the country is on the brink of collapse. Well, I thought Yemen was always kind of in the middle of a collapse. What's that? I know you're not saying whoa.
I have breaking. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah. Oh. So they didn't just smash the windows, huh?
No.
So shots fired at Vance's house. You want to share that?
Yeah. There you
Apparently,
go.
Hey, Blaine.
Apparently, somebody shoots at Vance's house, and Blaine appears.
I know it's.
Wasn't me.
The social enforcers. the social actually, he wanted to make sure that he has an alibi to make sure that he can't be placed at the scene of Vance's house.
I don't want rumors starting.
Blade, how you doing?
Oh.
Not much has been happening lately. I mean, I don't know what you want to talk about today, but not a whole lot of stuff going on in the world.
No, it's pretty quiet.
I mean, I don't know if you caught any of the special episodes we did over the weekend. We ended up doing 2 back-to-back episodes on Saturday, and that was a pretty hair-raising experience watching that unfold in real time. You want to give us your kind of feedback and comments?
It's a funky cold Maduro. I gotta tell you, I love listening to the libtards online wailing about, we're being drawn into another forever war. And got to be honest with you, it's just the forever war. I slept through it. Felt like I slept forever. It was such a joke. This has been awesome. I think it's wonderful. Everybody's screaming it's all about the oil. I don't know if that's the case or not. I really don't care. This is about. I just posted an editorial up on American Thinker this morning. In 2 years alone, we had 116,000 people die of drug overdoses in the United States. It's crazy. Or 190 some thousand. We only had 116,000 die in World War I. Okay, so when you compare all this, it's ridiculous. If a terrorist group came into our country and killed 100,000 people in 2 years, the entire country would be mobilized against it, except of course Minnesota. But for the most part, we've let this go on, and I think Trump has enacted a new doctrine. I think this was a very clear message to Cuba, Colombia, and Mexico, and it was AFO. And if you're Claudia Sheinbaum, if I were her, I'd be looking
Gustavo Petro.
How do I get out of this? How do I stop being the president as quickly as possible? Because this was a message sent to everybody out there that's pushing drugs. We will go kinetic on your ass.
That's there were several different messages for several different people. I don't understand why people are saying that Trump is not being he's saying he didn't go because of the oil. No, he went because of the oil, but he also went because of the drugs. Yeah, he went because of China's there. He went because of it's the fucking Western Hemisphere, and you don't fuck around in our backyard.
Well, we let it happen for decades, though.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The Monroe Doctrine is you got to call it revitalized at best at this point, because it was dead and buried just a couple of years ago.
Let me say, as long as we're bringing the oil up, that all the shrieking about us stealing it is rather funny, considering it was ours and was nationalized by communists, thus stolen. Pretty sure returning stolen property isn't theft. But.
Well, you got to bear in mind, we've become a communist country, at least in New York City.
Oh, that's true. We're nationalizing other people's oil now. Yeah.
Well, the good news is, I don't know if you heard this, but you guys are getting a triumphant arch there in the DC metropolitan area. So, it's actually in Virginia. Across the bridge that links right to the Lincoln Memorial. Yeah. It's on the Arlington side of that is going to be a big triumphal arch.
Great. Yeah. I don't care. Trump's accomplished more than any president in my lifetime in
living memory.
In 1 year. Yeah. I'm sorry. You could sit and bitch and piss and moan about it, but in the end, he's doing exactly what I wanted. I wish he'd do more of it. And that's what's funny is you've got conservatives going, you know what? We wanted more. We wanted more deportation. We want more people in jail. We want more of this stuff. We're not even satisfied at this point. And so, honestly, if he did nothing from this point on, he would have been a successful presidency.
Yep.
So everybody that doesn't like it can lick my taint for all I care.
Well,
Ding, ding, ding.
Tell them how you tell me how you really feel, Blaine. I mean, don't leave them hanging there. But no, I'm with you, brother. This is the most successful military raid since I don't know,
Joe. Yeah, no, we have to bring this up. Well, I don't know. There was another very successful military raid over the weekends, gents. I don't know if you saw it, but it totally proves a theory I've been trying to peddle around to everybody for a while now. Gents, the Somalis have hijacked and seized an illegal Chinese fishing vessel.
Yeah.
This is either like you don't know who to who do you cheer for or let them fight, you know.
I think we give the Somalis bounties for them and let this sort itself out. That's an easy one.
I like this one's a push. Well done, to all involved.
All I could say is 2 words: torpedo loose.
Yeah.
Notice
the problem is, Blaine, that these fishing vessels come in like clusters of 3,000. So you got to have a lot of torpedoes.
Notice
but I just want to blow up the one with the Chinese and the Somalis on it.
Yeah. Joe?
Notice the 2 fishermen in the very front are wearing fatigues.
Yeah. Good call. Let them fight. Very good. All right.
They deserve a daycare. Well done, Mr. K. Well done.
All right. What's up next? Gunmen kill at least 30 villagers and abduct others during raid in northern Nigeria. So we're back to the Christians in Nigeria. While this is not what you'd call breaking news or even new news, because unfortunately this is a all too commonplace kind of event that's been occurring, I think it's important for us to bring it to people's minds. This genocide or Holocaust of Christians in Nigeria continues. At least 30 villagers have been killed and several others missing after gunmen raided a village in northern Nigeria's Niger State. Police say Sunday that the latest in a cycle of deadly violence in the conflict-hit region. Gunmen stormed the Kusuwan Daji village in Borgu local government area on Saturday evening and opened fire on residents. They also razed down the local market and several houses. At least 2 residents put the death toll at 37, but said it could be much higher as some people remain missing as of Sunday. Locals also said the security forces are yet to arrive in the areas, contradicting a police claim that they have deported officers to search for those kidnapped.
Wait, are they implying that the Nigerian police force might not be paragons of integrity and truth?
I am shocked.
I know. Shocked, I say. Anyway.
Let's see. The president condemned the attack, though, so there you go.
Well, as one does. Hey, Joe, do you condemn the attack?
I'm sorry?
Do you condemn the attack?
Yes.
All right.
Good question.
No, I'm just saying, it's the most obvious question in the world. It's like, we all condemn the attack.
Yeah. Also, it has roughly as much effect when you condemn it as when he does. So.
Exactly right. Joe 2's word. Well, let's be honest. When Donald Trump tends to condemn things, they tend to blow up shortly thereafter, or get snatched up and disappeared. All right.
Oh, hey, update on the breaking story that we had. It looks like somebody's already been arrested.
Well, that's good. I am Uncle Bob R. American Empire Ascendant. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we are. Like Watcher said earlier, we are the Roman Empire. And we even had some parading of Maduro in New York City streets. So
That's
I mean,
coming
you know,
up.
it's which is I will keep
Wait, did you
dropping
see this
teases
yet?
for all the things that we're going to be talking about.
Blaine, have you seen that one yet? It's good. It's so good.
Yeah.
All right.
Have you guys heard Trump's been mentioning Greenland again? I mean, you know, the BBC is very, very, very nervous about this.
I can't understand why, because we already have basing rights there. The bases we have there, we have shuttered and haven't used. I don't understand this.
Well, yeah. So I think I understand it. The problem is that what I understand to be the case has nothing to do with the stated goals that the president has talked about, and those goals specifically are they want the minerals. They want to be able to exploit Greenland for the minerals that are there, and I think that's pretty much it.
I had heard it was kind of a how do I put this? I had heard that maybe Norway had been discussing other options about other people that might be interested in covertly using certain areas.
I don't know why Norway would, because Norway doesn't own Greenland.
Or not Norway, Denmark.
Well, so I heard an interesting thing. And so in the 1800s, when the Union, so Norway became part of the Union, the Kalmar Union with Denmark and Sweden. I think it was Sweden back in the 1800s. And then when it broke up, Denmark took all of Norway's foreign possessions. So this is in the 19th century. So this is not like ancient lands that that Denmark has always had. It's you know, within the last couple of hundred years of recent memory. Now we're talking the cap and ball era, so it's not like that recent, but still, this is not what you'd call ancestral Danish land.
Yeah, I once again remind everybody though that we don't need a bunch of human snow quokkas in our population, and that's essentially what they are. They're quokkas. They have no survival instincts. They're like some of the most socialist people you've ever met in your life. I'm sure they're very kind. We don't need them suckling off our teeth. Thanks.
Oh, I'm with you there. I'm you know. Let's see.
100% dependent population that is a drain on resources. So.
Yeah, unlike the territory of Venezuela, that would be quite the attractive. Trump-Venezuela. That would be quite the attractive addition to the American portfolio of collected territories that she'll never vote for the Senate or any other congressional position.
I like the fact that Denmark's president came out this weekend was all upset, saying Trump needs to stop talking about Greenland. I thought that made it worthwhile. I would talk more about it just to piss off Denmark.
I do sort of wonder if that's literally what's happening.
Here's my only thoughts on that is that I too kind of felt exactly the same way you were when I first heard about this issue. But now that I've seen how based Denmark has been on the immigrants who have come into their country, you know, as far as having to have 25 hours of Danish cultural, content every week for these people, I was like, well, that's pretty based. So I kind of want to be a little nicer to them. But, you know, I mean, when it comes to territorial expansion, who's not always for that? Denmark just needs to keep the people.
Yeah.
All right. The rare earth minerals in Greenland are not mineable economically. They won't ever be mined. We'll see. You know.
Well, always remember that all of those calculations are based on whatever the period in which they were doing mining equipment was, and that we are about to have some incredibly cool new mining technology come online, or it's already started to come online, that basically changes all those calculations.
Yeah, apparently, like robotics is going to be an area that really kind of impacts mining greatly.
But like, if you want to look into what I'm talking about, guys, go look into what they're trying to do to the Salton Sea, because we just found literally the world's largest deposit of lithium underneath there. But the problem is that they need a special type of mining, which is direct lithium extraction. And direct lithium extraction leads to all other kinds of very interesting possibilities. And we have it up and spinning now.
All right.
I feel like I'm missing one.
No, that was it. We went through the first three.
Okay.
Joe, you want to talk a little bit about tactical-wisdom.com?
Want to, or will I?
Will you? I know Mama wants you to talk about it. So
I would love for it to actually net some benefit, because apparently nobody cares. Anyway, here's the schedule we have coming up. This weekend we're doing Winter Fieldcraft. Looks like we will have some snow for it. It's highly unusual to not have snow in Montana right now. And it looks like what we have will probably melt by tomorrow. But we're going to get more on Thursday night just before the class. So we can learn to snowshoe and come out and do some movement skills in the snow and some campsite selection in the snow. All that fieldcraft gets a little bit different in the wintertime. And we're going to talk about that. Something I've learned a thing or two about over the years is Arctic warfare. So we're going to do some stuff with that. Then Kay will be here the 15th through the 18th. He's going to do Ground Rod 1, which is securing your electronic footprint, right? Making it a little more hard for them to gather that pattern of life information that they gathered on Nicolas Maduro. And we're able to find out where he lays his head at night. So we'll talk about how to protect yourself from that. Make no mistake, though, that if the Delta Boys know where you sleep, they will get you. But I digress. And then after that, Kay is doing Gunfighter Concepts Pistol, which is a pretty awesome pistol class. I've been brushing up so that I can take it. And then the weekend after that, I'm going to drop back into Combatives. Great class. If you ever take it once, you can always come back for free to practice your skills and learn a little bit about defending yourself from empty hand all the way up through the bayonet. So we do all kinds of fun stuff. And listen, if you have not watched the remake of Magnificent Seven, there's some pretty sweet using your rifle as a blunt object scenes in that movie. And Vincent D'Onofrio stabs a lot of people with a knife. So very cool stuff. All those skills you can learn with me at the Combatives weekend. And then we'll do another winter survival class. So come check that stuff out. Take some of that money your grandma gave you for Christmas and invest either in a class or in a set of books at tactical-wisdom.com and come hang out with us.
Yeah, you will not regret it. It's a great time is had by all in these classes, and you also get to meet a lot of really good people that just the kind of networking opportunities is considerable. So, all right, let me. I have a brush beater ad. Let me read that. All right, so tonight we're covering the new Iranian Revolution, tearing through the regime's foundations and the chaotic aftermath of Venezuela, power vacuums, resource grabs, and regional ripples. From Persian uprisings to post-Maduro fallout, the world's reshaping fast. Enter our sponsor, Brush Beater Store, led by NC Scout, a.k.a. Matt, with Kyber Optics to give you razor-sharp insight amid the revolutions and the ruins. When the regime tumbles in Tehran or Caracas collapses into anarchy, Kyber Optics from Brush Beater Store lets you navigate the new landscape. Their PVS 14 monocle has Gen 2 plus white phosphor tubes, premium Japanese glasses, limited lifetime. You break it, we replace it. Warranty illuminates the night for revolutionary watches or aftermath patrols. Stay nimble with the Skull Crusher head mount for extended ops in unstable zones. In the harsh light of the regime change or resource wars, the Kyber Optics MDO provides a close-emitter red dot with shake awake and 50,000 battery hour life, quick and deadly for emerging threats. And for assessing the border chaos as revolution spread or aftermath unfolds, the Kyber Optics 1x6 power LPVO delivers versatile magnification with ironclad durability and etched reticles, perfect for scanning shifting fronts. Experience the advantage in the darkroom at Brushbeater's Yanceyville, North Carolina showroom, or equip yourself at brushbeater.store/collection/optics. Use code CFC10 for 5% off all Kyber optics, night vision, radios, training, or orders over $100 shipped for free. Big thanks to Matt at Brushbeater Store for fueling the Council on Future Conflict. Visit brushbeater.store and enter code CFC10 and see clearly through the Iranian Revolution and Venezuela's aftermath. Now, back to the show. Joe, I can't imagine all these scenes from Iran. I keep thinking, God, if only they had the guns that we have. Only if they have the guns just one of us had.
Yeah, that would be.
I mean, a well-armed, trained team of 5 guys in chaos like that could make a huge fucking difference.
There's a reason why the Second Amendment is absolutely vital, and there it is.
Do we have any more pallets of those liberators laying around somewhere? Could we not just fly a Globemaster over and kick a couple pallets out?
What are you talking about?
Oh, the little tiny one-shot guns the CIA literally designed to be produced en masse and dropped into countries exactly like this.
We got plenty of AKs. Just give them AKs.
3D printing has rendered that absolutely obsolete.
He's correct, but we still have pallets of them.
I wonder if we do have pallets of them still.
They're hard to get a hold of, and we know roughly how many were produced, so probably.
All right, let's jump in here.
Let me embiggen this. There we go.
So this is the big story in the last 24 hours that I've seen. Ayatollah Khamenei plans to flee to Moscow if Iran unrest intensifies, and it has intensified. The Republic's supreme leader has plotted an exit route out of Tehran should his forces fail to quell dissent, and intelligence report reveals. No, so this is what I read, Joe. You tell me if you think I'm onto something here. SIGINT has provided a windfall of information, and one of the guys at, say, MI5 or this NSA or someplace like that can't keep his fucking mouth shut and blab to his girlfriend, who then blabbed probably to a reporter or something along these lines. I think that's exactly how they got this. That would make all the fucking sense in the world.
Yes, espionage. You just defined espionage. So
I know. I'm saying I think this is legitimate, is what I'm saying. Not like this is some fantasy.
That sounds fast. But okay, yes.
Okay, that sounds different, because I could be wrong. I don't have any hard interpretations of this, but my first idea when I saw this was information shaping. This is the kind of thing I'd want the Iranians on the ground to think. Right.
No, I don't think so. Because I think the Iranians on the ground want to get him. I don't think they want him to leave.
Oh, I think it'd be catastrophic if he leaves. Like, to have him potentially come back out of exile would be whoever he designates as his next after him.
Well, the irony is his son has been designated the heir apparent, and the Kremlin watchers in Iran basically say that everybody, even the people in the IRGC council and all this kind of stuff, they all hate him. Let's see. Khamenei, which is 86, plans to escape Tehran with a close circle of up to 20 aides and family. Should he see that the army and security called on to quell the unrest are deserting, defecting, or failing to follow orders. The plan B for Khamenei is his very close circle of associates and family, including his son and nominated heir apparent. Let's see, Ben Sabati, who has served for decades as an Israeli intelligence after fleeing the regime 8 years after the Islamic Revolution, told the Times that Khamenei would flee to Moscow as there are no other place for him. I actually kind of thought maybe Afghanistan might be willing to put him up. just to kind of thumb their
safe
noses.
enough?
I don't believe that that's the case. They did one joint operation recently, but there's not a lot of love between the Iranians and the Afghans.
Yeah, that doesn't sound safe enough. That
Well,
sounds
so-
like how you get sold out in a heartbeat.
So when you're talking the Pashtuns, I agree with you, but most of the Afghans in the western part of the country are basically, a different color of Persian, So like in those areas, he might actually find some people who
I
are
understand that,
more
but
open.
the Taliban didn't come from that side. Right?
Oh no, I totally get it. I mean, like
the Taliban is in charge, correct?
I'm just saying that they could have used that as a kind of another tool in their thing. And then, Joe, you may know more about this than I do, but the Baloch front is kind of that's operating very heavily in Pakistan is also operating out of Iran. We had Pakistan actually hitting targets inside Iran just last year, I think it was. So there's a lot of kind of different actors in
tribal aspects, like we mentioned earlier, right?
Exactly right. I'm going to go tribal
in there.
Well, can I point out an aspect from our angle, which is if he escapes and he's able to try and do stuff, he's able to keep running the terrorist organizations out of exile. That's like the worst of both worlds for us, because it's all the expense and cost and political aid of a country being torn up with none of the benefit of actually getting rid of the mullahs.
Well, the only problem with that is there's some potential for all of these rat lines and networks to be given up as part of the kind of the trade deal that maybe members of the IRGC or the Quds Force might make in order to come over to the good guys' side, or to potentially be given a ticket out of town. Blaine, what's your kind of take on the whole thing?
My thing is this guy's got no ground to go to. Nobody wants that crap in your country, okay? Especially after what happened in Venezuela this week. You don't want this kind of a person in your country because it's not going to bring you any wealth. It's not going to bring you any power. What it's going to bring you is grief. So he hasn't got any places to go. The fact that we even consider Afghanistan tells you how bad things are. Maybe he could go live with the Houthis. I don't know. But
I guess
there's just not a lot of place for him to go. So I think it's great that we've reached a point where these creeps have no ground to go to.
Right. Yeah, they're completely out on their own. It looks like Waltz might have said that he won't run for re-election. I haven't seen that confirmed anywhere yet. But
I'm trying to grab it.
Yeah, that's actually we mentioned that earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, we talked about it, but it hadn't been he hadn't announced it yet.
Yeah, we mentioned the rumor.
Knowing this dipshit, he's probably getting ready for a presidential run because he honestly thinks he's man enough to do it.
Well, if he's not
I think he got told to drop out because I think Vance Bolter's going to roll up on him, and I think that the Trump administration is going to go with that.
I think where he went wrong is when he made the really ridiculous comment that, there's a couple of Somalis doing it, but it's mostly white supremacists committing this fraud. That was absolutely the most moronic statement that is objectively and easily provably false, right?
And anybody who lives there with their own two eyes can see what the flavor of individual that are conducting these kind of things.
Yeah.
And the only white people involved are the ones that are part of the patronage networks. That, by the way, is another tribal kind of thing that you have in tribal cultures is the criminal patronage networks.
The future is tribal. Shouldn't you be picking a tribe right now?
Well, I think I have.
We're
kind of starting our own.
We always talk about how we dodged the bullet and Trump took out 2 female presidential candidates. But let's be honest, we dodged these vice presidential douchebags too. Tim Kaine.
Oh, God, man.
Is an absolute freaking train wreck. And Tim Walz, what a joke.
And as we started the conversation with as well, Vivek.
Yeah.
Ironically, speaking of the former vice presidents, Kamala Harris put out a tweet this morning about how it's illegal for Trump to have gone after Maduro. I will remind her that her and Joe Biden put $25 million on Maduro's head themselves. So why is it suddenly different now? Right.
Well, she doesn't remember that, Joe, because she was, glug glug at the
Right.
time.
In honor of Tim Waltz, I think kind of hearkening back to some of the fun stuff that we did over the weekend. I just dropped a link in the chat watcher for you to.
Before we move on, I just want to say that I think it is funny that at the same time that Trump is collecting dictators, we now learn that Putin is also potentially collecting dictators. I think they are rivals and they have a new hobby.
That's right.
We need you at the quality control center.
Let's fucking
go! Lear pest control. I thought that was Fat JD Vance at first.
Oh my God! Help! This is a disaster!
All right. As long as we brought this one up, everybody did see that they have footage from inside of Maduro's manor from this weekend when they captured him, didn't they? If you haven't seen it yet, here you go. It's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah. Laser eyes. Yeah, there's a version of that takes it on like after like it keeps going. There's the stuff that they're doing with AI nowadays. It's out of fucking control. It is just. It was literally made for political satire.
Bob Tube, I think that when Tim Walz said the white supremacists were really running the fraud, he meant himself, to be honest.
I think you're correct there, actually.
I don't think so. Yeah, that guy, he could screw up a one-car funeral. Let's be honest. He's an utter moron.
Yeah,
and even by his own admission during the debate, sometimes I'm knucklehead or whatever.
Yeah.
He's an idiot. He's a complete idiot. And the fact that Kamala chose him just tells you how bad her decision-making processes are.
Well, I think it must have been literally what everybody jokingly assumed at the time, Blaine. Everybody assumed at the time that she must, Biden had to choose Kamala because he had to choose somebody dumber than him, right? Yeah. And then ipso facto, when Kamala went to go looking, there was a very small pool of people dumber than her.
That's true.
Yeah. Kamala uses Chat GPT to text.
No, that's not fair to Chat GPT. Her text is coherent to be written by Chat GPT.
That's exactly right. It's like when you put gobbledygook, it just starts making things up. So
it must be weird for people like them to have been made so irrelevant by Donald Trump. That literally they no one cares. They don't mean anything. Her and Waltz, they're irrelevant.
Yeah, and I got it. We can't get complacent going into the midterms, but I mean, just the trajectory we're on right now, I don't see how it goes against us.
Oh, come on, Scott. You're not lending any credibility to the weird panicans that have always been kind of on the fringe of the party that have been attacking us for like 3 months solid, that are using this as yet another opportunity to twist
I'll be honest with you. A month ago, think about it. We were basically saying, are they ever going to fucking do anything? So we were sitting there complaining. And on top of that, the economics were going down too. Like guys like me, my 401k was down. So there was a lot to complain about a month ago. Now the world looks very different.
Action, yes.
And oh, by the way, we're still in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk, and
and we still have 0 arrests of the previous administration.
That's true.
Yeah,
exactly right.
Whoops. Was I supposed to say that?
No, you're right on the money. I mean, all the things are still true that a month ago from than they are today, except for he has done some other things, right? And so
he's acting where he has latitude to act unilaterally. Yep.
Let's see. Moving on with the story here. Protesters accused anti-riot forces made up of the Islamic IRGC and the Bashi militia and police and the army of using violent means, including live tear gas. Live fire, tear gas. I mean, everybody knows they're going to use tear gas and water cannons to suppress the demonstrations. The forces are under the total command of Khamenei, who is the supreme source of the power of the Islamic Republic, overruling the army, courts, and media. He relies on the IRGC to enforce his bidding as a central source of power. The escape plan will be activated should Khamenei feel his security forces are not following orders. Desertion and defection are not easily undertaken, with Khamenei protecting loyalists, controlling key appointments with their safety. According to the psychological profile of the leader done by a Western intelligence agency and seen by the Times. So I was thinking about this. Imagine how all the people outside, who are loyal to Khamenei, but outside the 20 most closest members of advisors and family that he plans to extract with himself. Imagine how they're feeling right about now. There's definitely
that's not where the arm comes out of your body. This photo is weird.
Yeah, so he's got his thing resting there, and then he's got like the smock is put on around him. So he's got his thing down at his side, and then it's coming up from there. It's weird, but yeah,
the arm is still. My arm does not go all the way down to my elbow does not go down to my hip.
Mine does.
Well, but Watcher, you're not exactly the most normal example of a human being being put together.
Yeah, I gotta go with Joe on this one, Watcher.
Facts. Okay, facts. Well, hey, have you ever, seen the Khomeini? Have we ever seen them next to normal-sized objects? For all we know, they're giants like me.
So Bob Tube makes a great point here. This is something we've talked about extensively. What was it, about a month and a half, 2 months ago? There was some extreme potential of evacuating Tehran due to lack of water.
It's not really about a drought. It's about broken infrastructure.
Yes.
And the fact that
there's just no way to move it.
And you got to remember, Tehran is a high desert city. I mean, it is literally in the mountains. What's the elevation of Tehran?
And I want to clarify that the drought just makes it so that the few areas that they still can draw water from get emptied very fast. But they have other areas that are all full of water. They just can't get at it because they didn't put the money into the infrastructure. They instead put that money directly into building nuclear bombs.
Probably
so
the system and sewers and
So the elevation of or in and around the area of Tehran is between 3,400 and 6,600 feet. So it's a pretty high city.
It's higher than Denver.
Yeah. All right. I was surprised. El Paso is like 3,000 feet. I was kind of surprised by that.
I'm higher than that.
Yeah, 3,740 feet at El Paso. And the Franklin Mountains nearby get up to 70,000 feet. So, yep. So anyway, yeah, this is something that he could potentially trigger. Let's see. He sees himself as the leader of the Shiite Muslims worldwide, justifying his investments in the so-called axis of resistance in Hezbollah, Lebanon, Hamas, and Gaza, Shiite movements and militias in Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. So, the interesting thing is what happens to all those networks once you unplug that kind of support system. And, like a lot of people, their loyalty is tied directly to their paychecks. Yeah, and they're having some problem with the water turning sailing too. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Couldn't happen to a nicer group of people.
I know.
Still
right?
haven't forgiven them for 1979. Sorry, not happy.
You know, Blaine, it's almost like God hates them.
Weird.
Yeah.
Thank you, Happy Plague Doctor, for reminding us all that Denver is
crap. I'll be right back.
All right. Let's.
Walker's going to see if his elbow is really down at his waist.
He's going to check his anatomy texts. Joe, is there anything really stood out to you in what you've seen in the last couple of days on the on these protests / revolutionary movements within Iran?
Only thing that's unusual to me is that we haven't seen a massive body count of dead protesters, which is the SAVAK / IRGC way, right? Well, if the threat of force doesn't work, machine guns usually do, and we've seen a little bit of live fire, but not as much as I would have expected. So. To see what
for me, you know, like with these protests, they normally start to peter out after about 3 days, and that's a combination of just losing energy and also crackdowns by the regime. But none of that is happening. I mean, the regime attempts to crack down, but they almost always get overwhelmed at the point of the friction.
Well, and the other side of this is that the people that they send to crack down keep defecting. The cops.
Yeah, there's significant defections.
So
I will not be happy until Iraq looks the same way Syria does.
Oh yeah,
broken and desolate, and crawling back to the United States, going, "Hey, let's be pals." I want that for Iran. I've wanted it for decades, and I will not relent in that.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
So I've got this video next. Scott, is that what you wanted?
All right. Yeah. Let's go through these videos. I basically just got. So this is a hospital raid that. So basically, there were protesters out in the street. There's like a companion video that goes to this, and the protesters ran into the hospital area, and these are those bike cops that kind of go around in the biker gangs all over Iran, and they call them collectivos in Venezuela. Oddly enough, it's funny how they've adapted that exact same TTP in Venezuela. The bike gang mob. Anyway, and so they go in and they basically start arresting people in here, saying anybody who's injured was probably most likely injured during the rioting, and so thus using that as a pretext to arrest people. And there was doctors beaten, and people who were completely not related to the protests getting in confrontation. So, this is not what you'd call a good look for the IRGC and the Basji.
Oh, hold on. This one's being stubborn. Yeah, it's not wanting to play. Give me a second. Let me see what I can do. I can usually download it from here when it's doing this.
Oh, it's playing for me.
You got to use your exceedingly long arms.
That's what it is. Yeah.
To reach into the internet and grab it, watcher, and bring it back to you.
All right, here we go. The long arm of the watcher.
That's what she said.
Is this different than any other Saturday night, though?
I mean,
wait, hold on. This is one of those, like, depends on what you're talking about. Detroit, yes. Tehran, no.
Yeah, I mean, I'm.
You know, Joe, the other thing that comes to mind, I bet they don't have all that much ammo. So, you know, you don't have a whole lot of spare rounds to be just, you know, doing celebratory fire if you're in like an urban conflict zone like this.
I had a similar thought.
I think there's a sufficient amount of ammo that gets smuggled in from the Afghan and Iraqi sides both, but not enough that I would want to waste it. But there is some that comes in, yeah.
So people are getting arms. Sometimes they're not the most trained people that are getting the arms, but the people are getting the arms. This next one is, let's see, day 8 of massive protests of Free Persia, as it's reported in the Times that the supreme leader is planning to flee Moscow if the regime loses grip on power. Silence from
about the vehicles there.
All white.
All white. You'll get a lot of choices in a country like that. You're gonna have the white one or the white one, and only
the white one. Yeah,
other colors. Other colors.
You know what's funny is that you're looking at a parking lot in Korea. It's like most of them are white, some of them are black. Then you've got silver as a kind of a distant third for colors.
I don't think you can use the title Supreme Leader if this is what things look like.
Well, I mean, this feels about as supreme as the last burrito supreme I got from Taco Bell. So
yeah, true.
Yeah, you can nail apples to a telephone pole, but that don't make it an apple tree. Let's see. All right, what else we got here? In Kushkirk, Isfahan, where else? Even women wearing chadors have joined the protests, yet IRGC forces opened fire on them. The chador is the regime's official dress, and their presence indicates that even the most conservative Iranians have turned on the regime. So in Isfahan, Qams, and a couple other cities, you have large religious centers, and a lot of those places are having significant pushback. Yep. So there's the shots fired. All right.
Everything's going well. I think it's great. I think they should have more of this.
Yeah. Oh, hell, Blaine, I think we should have more of this.
Yeah. We had the summer of love. I don't want us to be on the other side of that.
Especially in areas like Michigan and Illinois and these places that are essentially Wisconsin comes to mind.
That does, well, I mean, I don't want to interrupt the story here, but that does bring up an interesting point. I wonder if they're going to do that again, right? Because they do seem like they're getting ready to separate off. And why would you let a bunch of people riot and destroy your own infrastructure right before you did that?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know.
That's a good point. Let's see. So we're seeing more of the kind of the burn the image of these people. Iranians are setting fire to images of Ayatollah Khamenei, toppling statues of regime officials, tearing down the Islamic Republic's flags, and burning their compulsory hijabs. They are rising up to reclaim the country from the Islamist occupiers who have held Iran hostage for 46 years. I guess I would get in trouble. Iran versus Iran.
Let me pose a question, and it's only quasi-serious, but do you think we're going to send in people to do just what we do with Maduro with this guy?
I mean, I don't know. The difference is I don't know of any criminal charges that he's been.
Yeah, but let's be honest.
I would like to point out too, Scott, that your Iran versus Iran thing is much like Gulf of Mexico versus Gulf of America. This is America. We say it how we want.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. If I respect the people on the other side, I tend to respect their pronunciation. I still say Kiev, by the way.
So you don't respect the Ukrainians at all.
You said it. You said it.
You said it, Joe, not me. What are you talking about? I love Ukrainian cam girls.
Well,
here's a statue that they burned down of him. Evidently, they've got all kinds of statues because they're getting all torn down and burnt down and destroyed. If you'd only just had one giant statue of him in Tehran, maybe they could have protected that. But looks like that's not the case. Let's see. And then, so in the neighborhood of Iran, we've got the U.S. is deploying significant buildup of military equipment and aircraft to the Middle East, with Delta Force and the 160th SAR reportedly headed to Iraq as early as next week, according to flight tracking and open source intelligence. So just in time, they're getting the game back together to do the sequel to Caracas, potentially. I think what this looks like more so is a potential forcible entry operation into Caracas. I think it would be a larger operation.
The terrain is way farther inland than Caracas.
Yeah, 100%. And that would assume that we get total cooperation from the Iraqis.
Well, it could be they're there for another reason entirely. We're supposed to be entering phase 2 of what's going on in Gaza, and so far Hamas is still refusing to disarm.
Right, disarm. That's
and
exactly right.
It could very well be that this is going to be the forcible disarming of Hamas.
Yeah, I think that's coming, Blaine. I think you're spot on there. I don't know if that's our boots on the ground to do it or if we just back up Israel, but
it's going to come. They're playing games. They're trying to negotiate now, and it's what a bunch of morons.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see. What's the difference from Erbil to? Let's see. You figure Erbil would probably be a place in Iraq where we would be relatively safe.
It's a long ways.
Yeah.
I'm just curious how far.
Sorry, did I miss my cue? Is this supposed to be playing?
Well, this is just the video that came with that tweet. So if you want to play it.
I had a distracting thing happen. I'm sorry. I posted it in the private. We don't need that audio, thanks.
Yeah, no, right. I thought you could do like a point drag thing. I guess not. That must be Google Maps.
973 kilometers.
Yeah, that's
400.
That's a good
miles.
Yeah, that's a pretty good ways, but it's not. I think that's doable with refueling and all that kind of stuff. But still, it's a long helicopter ride.
It's doable, but you have to understand that the Iranian air defenses are a bit more developed than the Venezuelan ones.
This is true. That's a lot of bullets going nowhere. Hold on a second. Did I miss that?
All I can remember I was watching our favorite consultant on Fox, Jack Keane, talking a few weeks ago about, oh man, these Venezuelans, their air defense, man, we're never going to overcome that. That's a big deterring factor. And it was like, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, we got their number. Lance Corporal Venom for $2 says that's a lot of bullets going nowhere. Torgo the White for $2 said Safa Mullah's Safa. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I just realized I don't have fucking Rumble open. I was.
Oh, like, now that's the shot. That's the shot you were supposed to get the whole time there, videographer. Thank you. All right. My internet's starting to get screwy, so it doesn't want to play.
What's going on with your internet, Watcher?
I need to upgrade to Starlink, and I think I'm finally going to do it.
I think, don't they have like a deal going on? Did you see that Starlink is being offered for free to everybody in Venezuela for the next month?
Till February, yeah. Pretty cool. I know that there were a lot of people online that were like, "Hey, I'm not necessarily against this operation, but is my family alive?"
Yeah.
Oh man, that's really cool. You see that slight light that was created when it was down inside the dust?
Yeah, it always does that.
Yeah, that's little molten pieces of sand that get impact the rotor and then heat up to that.
Hunch Dirty Roofer for $2 over on Rumble says, "Watcher, we call them high points now."
I'm the pistols being dropped
The
out.
Liberators.
Yeah,
The
actually
Liberators.
completely correct. I guess nowadays all you got to do is drop a couple little 3D squirty boys and some nails, and everybody's having a good time.
Let's see. That's pretty much it. I'm sure if you want to watch some more, if we talk about it some more, we can look up more videos. But ultimately, you've seen one street fight, you've seen them all. I think the big kind of news is that the IRGC is starting to shoot at the protesters more, and the protesters are shooting back. And to include, not only do you have defectors joining the protesters, but you're also seeing the protesters actually capturing members of the Basji and the IRGC, and the local police too.
It'll be exciting to see what develops, man. I'm also excited to see what that thing last night with the Israeli Prime Minister dropping the video. Right around the time that everybody was suspecting that we had aircraft over, and right around the time that Iran suddenly had a whole country anti-aircraft test at the same time that was unscheduled and did not have any NOTAMs up, which means they just did it, because they were feeling nervous, or because something was actually happening and they didn't want the protesters to know that there were enemy aircraft overhead. One or the other.
Yeah. Who dropped that? Yeah, Watcher, you did that PJ Media article.
Yeah, that's really weird, man.
Entire foreign policy can be summed up in just 6 words. Somebody has to be the grown-up.
Yeah. So if you read it, while we were on the show, a reporter wrote a story with a certain someone you might know as the key feature.
Yeah.
He took a thought piece that I wrote and turned it into an article. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought this was one of your better tweets. I thought your firm fathering.
Yeah,
basically.
I was literally just trying to what is Trump doing differently than everyone else, and I started listing out what his actual actions are, and then I was like, huh, that's how I try and parent. And then I thought about it some more, and I was like, huh, yeah, they do kind of act like kids who have never had parenting that are having a tantrum. And then it all started. It all clicked, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe you get a bunch of PJ Media subscribers.
Whoa, probably. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I'm going to toot my own horn real quick before I move on to the next story. But I'm about to cross over the threshold, gentlemen. Brock has informed me that I am officially a niche internet micro celebrity.
How has it done that?
Oh, nothing. I was just talking about hey, I've got a lot of followers now. And it's yeah, you qualify as a niche internet micro celebrity, and had lists of follower ranges. I was like, that's weird.
That's interesting. All right.
Time for the next one.
Yep. So somebody took the wrong message, I think, from the. And let's talk about that, gentlemen, shall we? Chinese social media explodes. U.S. invasion of Venezuela, a template for move on Taiwan.
No. Well, I'd like to say this before. I'd like to get out ahead of this before we even start, which is, if you think it was decorum or international rules that were keeping China from invading Taiwan, I invite you to get froggy and jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trump.
I don't think there's a charismatic leader or a dictator that's holding Taiwan together. That if you removed him, the whole thing falls apart.
Yeah, that's right. Well, but see, yeah, that's
also it wasn't. It's not international decorum that's keeping China from taking Taiwan. They'll do it the second they think they can do it. What's keeping them from taking Taiwan is Taiwanese resolve to not be communist and American steel.
Well, and the fact and the lack of all the correct capabilities in the right time, space, and place. And when they find out things like, well, shit, our fucking anti-stealth radar doesn't work. Maybe all of a sudden they need to like start reconfiguring what they think how effective they can be against U.S. stealth fighters, of which we have over 1,000 of now.
You know that there's some angry conversations happening in Chinese and some Chinese backroom.
And it has nothing to do with the fact that their delegation practically got fucking hog-tied probably by the Delta people.
Could have been a twofer if we wanted.
By the way,
the number one thing that's keeping Taiwan safe is Donald Trump's unpredictability about how he might respond to it. And people say, well, that's just because he's mentally unstable. And I'm like, actually, it's part of the show, folks. Yep. The fact is, you can't, Trump broadcasts what he's going to do a lot of the time. He hasn't said what he would do if China suddenly made a move and grabbed Taiwan.
Yeah.
Would we try to grab it back? And to be honest with you, it doesn't do anybody any good to grab Taiwan if all the chip factories and stuff are laid waste.
China has had for several decades now a complete mock-up of the Taiwanese presidential palace that they practice conducting raids on, right?
On a weekly basis. Yep.
Yeah. And
to include interior walls in the correct locations, I'm reliably told.
I've heard before, right? On the note of the Chinese people almost getting schwacked, you know who did get schwacked? 32 members of the Cuban security forces who were
that's right. Oddly enough,
protecting
the compound.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, Joe, you correct me if I'm wrong because I could be. But the way I had always heard it is that these guys were considered like the best of the South American special forces dudes. Like if you were an American, you wanted the Colombians, right? Well, am I getting that right?
Listen, though, saying that the Cubans are the best of the Latin Americans is like saying he's the smartest retard in class.
Oh, Cubans! I thought they were Colombians.
Special ed class. They're not really known. Think about this. Latin American militaries are trained more to oppress their citizens than they are to actually fight against a peer-level military or a world-class military. So when Delta shows up and swoops through your building, you're not really equipped for that fight. So
yeah. I just remember Grenada, and the Cubans really didn't hold out well there either.
Well, I was only 13, so I wouldn't know that much about Grenada and the Cubans. But there were some Cubans in Panama, and they met very much the same fate. So.
Yeah.
The other thing that I heard that was very interesting about this is the role of the Cubans. And so many people are saying, oh, well, they were advising him and assisting him and things like this. Well, the other side says, well, no, they were there minding him. Basically making sure that the trains ran on time and make sure he did what the fuck he was told to do. Yeah. Because Maduro is not what you'd call a stable egg if you've seen video of him. And so
he was the sidekick before he was the president, right?
Well, And like I told my wife, she was asking me about the vice president. I was like, listen, the vice presidents are generally fairly incompetent because dictators don't want somebody competent standing next to them. Yeah. Now, the military guy in the Interior Ministry, Reed, internal security minister, probably is more on the payroll of the Cubans than they are on the payroll of Maduro. But who knows? Anyway, so I think this is interesting to see how the inner circle was full of Cubans, essentially. All right. So Trump's operation against Venezuela's strongmen shot to the top of China's Weibo late Saturday, with the topic gaining some 440 million views on the X platform. Many commenters were quick to make comparison between the fate of South American nation and that of the self-ruled democracy Beijing has vowed to claim. Like the long building military showdown between the United States and Venezuela, a couple months is not nearly the same as what you guys have been doing, China. And oh, by the way, we just rolled in. We don't have bases and everything like that. We literally operated off of flat tops for most of it. I mean, yeah, we had Puerto Rico nearby and a couple other places, but still. It's a small in comparison with China's population and the military might, but the situation is an inversion, with Washington having long-armed Taiwan to the teeth. The fact is is obvious enough to spark an avalanche of commentary, with Bloomberg citing one Weibo post and a thread amongst many, which I suggest using the same method to reclaim Taiwan in the future. That is a terrible idea. In reference to Beijing's design on reuniting the self-ruled island from the mainland. What now?
Oh, this is the same thing. It's about the similar story. I'm just going to put it up while you talk.
What are we looking at here?
This is them running the statue of Hugo Chavez through the streets on a motorcade.
I love it. Venezuelans. They're going to have statues of Donald Trump in that fucking place before it's all said and done. China has joined Russia in demanding the immediate release of Maduro from the Foreign Ministry, stating that he was deeply shocked by the blatant use of force against a sovereign state. Like you're literally saying you're going to use against Taiwan, which is basically a sovereign state.
For the record, tomorrow is in the future, right? When they say for our operation in the future, tomorrow is in the future.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't expect today's events in Venezuela will dramatically shift Beijing's calculus in Taiwan. Ryan Haas, a former U.S. diplomatic and senior fellow at Brookings Institute, wrote on X: Beijing hasn't refrained from kinetic or other actions in Taiwan out of deference to international law and norms. Privately, I expect Beijing will emphasize to Washington that it expects to be given the same latitude for great power exemptions to international law that the U.S. takes for itself. You don't understand, China. The United States does what we want to do because we can do what we want to do. You have to literally ask us for permission to do the things that you want to do. And the answer will be no, of course. Peanut States Helicopter Tours for $2 says, what should we take away from the fact that they used Army and Delta before the Marines and SEALs on this? 7th Special Forces. Yeah, I mean, so let's be honest. When it comes, there are a very few of those top tier groups, and the ones that work together the most are the Rangers and the Delta. And this is the kind of thing where you need a little more ass. You got to have you have Delta at the tip of the sphere, and you have the Rangers basically securing the inner and outer cordons of these types of large objectives. This was SOP back in Iraq and Afghanistan, and it's pretty much the same here.
Each of our special operations forces has its own specialty, right?
Yeah.
And Delta is great for snatches and in extremis hostage rescue. SEALs are more of a raiding force or special reconnaissance, right?
Yeah, maritime, of course.
Yeah, maritime stuff. Marines are more of the backup for those elements, right? The tactical recovery of downed aircraft and pilot, those kind of things, or seizure from the sea. This is just who we would use for that operation anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And 7th Special Forces Group's specialty is different. It would be going in and destabilizing the country as opposed to conducting a snatch operation. So,
and if
you
you
would be
if
training
you,
indiges and arming them up and pointing them at the right places, right?
there are two factors that probably, if you could say like SEAL Team 6 and Delta are about the same, right? But if you want to put one above the other, I think there's two factors that would edge Delta Force out as that put Delta Force ahead, and that's you have a larger pool of trigger pullers to draw from the population, right? So like, basically every trigger puller in the Army gets an opportunity theoretically to be Delta if they want to be, right? And then the other one is nobody gets more money than Delta. Nobody. Period. End stop. That's it. Nobody gets more money than Delta. And so what that means is they have that much more money to spend on training and all that kind of stuff. What about Super Delta Force? Well, there's
Chuck Norris is the commander of Super Delta.
So I mean, it's like they have flying. Well, you've got what was the one that had the flying motorcycle at the end? What was
that was Delta Force. Lee Marvin and Chuck Norris.
Yeah. First rule of Super Delta Forces, you don't talk
He
about
was driving around Beirut on a motorcycle the whole time, right?
The one I'm thinking of, the cheesy '80s one where they had the rocket firing motorcycles and it flew at the end.
I'm sorry, I can't not break with this one. Breaking from, in fact, I'm not even going to say it, Scott. I'm going to make it big, and then you can read it because.
All right, go ahead.
There you go.
All right, this is from Second War of Pete Hegseth.
8 minutes ago.
The thirst trap that the women were all dying for over the weekend. 6 weeks ago, Senator Mark Kelly and 5 other members of Congress released a reckless and seditious video that was clearly intended to undermine the good order and military discipline. As a retired Navy captain who is still receiving a military pension, Captain Kelly knows he is accountable to military justice and the Department of War and the American people. Expect justice. Therefore, in response to Senator Mark Kelly's seditious statements and his pattern of reckless misconduct, the Department of War is taking administrative action against Captain Mark E. Kelly, USN retired. The department has initiated retirement grade determination proceedings under 10 USC 1370 with reduction of his retired grade, resulting in a corresponding reduction in retired pay. To ensure this action, the Secretary of War has also issued a formal letter of censure, which outlines the totality of the Captain, for now, Kelly's reckless misconduct, and the censure is necessary process to step and will be placed in Captain Kelly's official and permanent military personnel file. Captain Kelly has provided notice of the basis of this action and has 30 days to submit a response. The retirement grade determination process directed by Secretary Hegseth will be completed within 45 days. Captain Kelly's status as a sitting U.S. senator does not exempt him from accountability, and further violations could result in further action. These actions are. Let me finish here, and we'll open it up. These actions are based on Captain Kelly's public statements from June through December of 2025, in which he characterized lawful military operations as illegal and counseled members of the armed forces to refuse lawful orders. This conduct was seditious in nature and violated Articles 133 and 134 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, to which Captain Kelly remains subject as a retired officer receiving pay.
Boy, that last bit is, and we'll get you too if you want to say anything about it.
So ultimately, what they're talking about is a grade determination board, which is a administrative action, not a legal action, right? And what that does would administratively reduce.
Say he's not recalling him for charges, Washer. He's just reducing his.
Yeah.
But what he's saying there at the end, and I think what you're picking up on, is like, if we wanted to, we could court-martial you under Article 133 and 134.
And if you want to keep pressing it, we will.
Which becomes a felony, by the way.
He'll push it because he's a moron.
I know,
because
which is why
you're 100% right. It's like these people are just they're so fucking stupid.
Well, his whole purpose, let's be honest, his whole purpose is to try to position himself for a run for presidency. He's got that in his head. Otherwise, why do any of this stuff? And he's just literally pushing for that. And now he's going to play the martyr card because he's going to play all the victim cards are going to come out now of his deck. Look at what they're doing to me. I didn't do anything wrong. He's going to play his victim cards out for a few days, but honestly, nobody cares. It doesn't matter to the average American. They're going to go, well, it seemed like a stupid thing for you to do.
Yeah, this is one of those kind of things where his ego outstripped his good sense. Now, his like 10% of America, which will fall into that kind of far left kind of, Kool-Aid drinkers. They'll think this is great. Oh, this is great. We stand by you. But there's a lot of regular people who are like, what? Can't have a security clearance anymore. Maybe we shouldn't vote for this guy.
Crazy 10 has it right in the chat. Pete 1, Pam 0.
That is an excellent takeaway. Actually,
that's a good one. That's a really good one. I gotta say that's good. It really boils down to I'm tired of the Democrats going to Retards R Us to do all their shopping. And this is where they go for all their policies and all their ideas. They literally hop on board with idiotic crap.
We lost to Scott. I'm assuming he'll be. There he is.
There you go. He started to come back.
Yeah, sorry, I had to restart. I had to reload
The North Koreans got you again.
They got me 22 years ago. Gave me a wife.
I guarantee you that Kim Jong-un this weekend was like, "Hey Don, we still good friends, right?" Remember that time you walk over to North Korea? Yeah, okay, we good.
I steal your Rocket Man, right?
Speaking of Don, by the way, our good buddy Don, I invited him to come on this weekend to hang out with us and talk about all this loveliness that was going on over the weekend. But he decided that he would rather shovel chicken shit. So I'm just saying. I mean, it's like he would say he didn't have a choice, but I'd call me crazy, guys. I think it's probably a calling. Oh, moments ago, this is a post from an hour ago. Moments ago, a loud explosion happened over Amol, northern Iran. It's a fucking huge, mushroom cloud. I'll share the video here in the private chat, watcher.
Ready to receive.
Yep. All right, let me continue on with that's pretty much the end of it. So yeah.
Oh no, it's a mushroom cloud, it's a nuke.
They set off their nuke, Joe.
Experts on Twitter. All the experts on Twitter will be saying that.
Is this a border town?
I don't know where that's at.
It's not a Tuma.
It's not a Tuma.
It's not a nuke.
I said that to somebody the other day, Blaine, and they didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. That made me feel old. I was like, really?
Yeah. That would make me feel old.
That was a good movie, though.
All right. Amol
Iran is when you say, "Oh, in Battlestar Galactica, I like the original Starbuck better," and they're like, "Who?" Yeah, the guy. What?
That's up by that's up north by the Caspian Sea, near where a lot of the military is.
Okay. Huh.
By the way, the only green part of that whole fucking country is right there along the Caspian Sea.
Pretty much.
The rest of the country is mountainous and sandy.
Well, rocky. I wouldn't really say sandy. It's more high desert.
Yeah, high desert. Yeah, that's fair.
Huh. All right. Want the next one?
Yeah. Let's move on. So this is so going back to the Chinese should just kind of go with what they got and just do what we did. If the Americans could do it, we could do it too, right? Can Venezuelan air defenses repel the U.S. strike? Look, what's the date on this? Yeah, 7 November. By the way, this is what I love. I love these tweets that age like spoiled milk. Venezuela's skies are protected. By the way, this is a Russia news, so this is a pro-Russia site, right? Venezuela's skies are protected by a layered network of Russian S-300 missiles, mobile book systems, more than 5,000 Igla shoulder-fired rockets. The myth of American air dominance has been shattered by outdated Soviet gear. Loss of an F-16 to a 1950s era SA-2 in the Gulf War in 91, downing of the invisible F-117 by an SA-3 in Yugoslavia in 99, and now imagine what a modern S-300 in Venezuela could do. Yeah, I guess we saw what it could do, huh?
The community note, man.
Venezuelan air defenses failed to repel U.S. airstrikes that allowed U.S. forces to capture Maduro. And then, of course, Russian news responds, weapons do not fight by themselves. When orders are crippled by betrayal and negligence, the doors are open from within. Even the strongest defenses fall without a single missile being fired. Metal is deaf, and gunpowder has no will of its own. A weapon is in the hands of a traitor is nothing but wreckage. And the hands of careless, heavy burden. Fortresses do not fall because of the hardness of cannons, but because of the fragility of conviction. And when betrayal seeps into the centers of decision-making, rifles are emptied of their bullets. Somebody used a little Grok or something, ChatGPT or something here to write this. I mean, Blaine, this just sounds like fucking AI written.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, somebody's really upset. Well done, Washer. Well done.
Oh, that was good.
Somebody asked me how we were able to pull it off despite the most advanced Russia Chinese systems being there. So we went old school and pulled off what was known as a wild weasel attack, right? Sending some obvious planes to make them turn on the radars and smoke all of the radars. All your systems don't work if the radars don't work. So
yeah. I posted an article about
small path, right? We'd have to fight the whole system at once. Just the path.
Well, the funny thing is, anybody who read Tom Clancy knows about all this. I mean, it's not like this is like rocket science either.
Yeah.
Remember, James, as Clark points out, these are the same news outlets that tell us that communism only failed because of saboteurs. So
They didn't do it right. You didn't play right. You're supposed to fly in flat and level so our systems work.
Mr. K for $5 Australian. Multiple explosions censored by YouTube.
You said that like 15 times in the chat. We're aware. You sent those to Watcher, so I didn't see them. So
in Iran reported. I sent a bunch of different links. I think Watcher's looking. That's the one we pulled up probably. If you got any more, let's see them. I'd love to see.
He's got a ton more actually. If you want, I'll just go through.
Go ahead. Let's just kind of cover those. So, Mr. K, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Got you, man.
Just so you know, I know we probably have new people in the chat because you found us through the special we did over the weekend. If you guys see something, tag one of us, send it to us, whatever, because we can't see everything. I know we're on the internet way more than we should be, but we can't be everywhere. So this may be your Israeli strikes.
Yeah, so like I said last night, gents, the Israeli prime minister posted, I think I can find it if you want me to, but he posted a video that was just him sitting at his desk and he pulls out a old style hourglass and flips it and then walks away from the desk and said, it's time.
I saw that. I saw that. Yeah. I didn't know that was in reference
that.
To.
Well, it coincided with all of our aircraft moving out of Europe and into the theater. And so I think this was more than just them. This was us. And I bet we have guys on the ground right fucking now.
Well, I mean, Trump has not been known to bluff much lately, so.
Well, and it would be a distraction from Venezuela.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, that just looks like a big fire is what that looks like.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens. I mean, this doesn't look like a mushroom cloud. I guess it is a cloud that is mushroom shaped, but not like a giant explosion. It looks more like a fire. Vote for Muhammad Ali Kaboom or you're racist. All right, let's move on. So they brought all the toys out to play with for this most recent thing in Venezuela. Footage suggests black program stealth drone may have supported Delta Force in Maduro capture operation. On reporting Saturday, spanning from the morning through late night, covered the incremental developments as U.S. Delta operators successfully executed Operation Absolute Resolve. The operation led to the capture of Venezuelan socialist leader Nicolas Maduro, his immediate transport to the U.S., and the filing of federal charges in New York. In a late-night press conference, General Dan Raisin-Kane disclosed that the operation involved the deployment of more than 150 air assets, underscoring air dominance posture of the Delta Force mission. Last night, on order of the President of the United States, in support of the request for the Department of Justice, and the President, as the President said, the U.S. military conducted an apprehension mission in Caracas, Venezuela, to bring to justice two indicted persons, Nicolas and Cecilia Maduro. Kane told reporters. So he goes on. We watched that live, so I don't need to really kind of go into that too much. The stealth drone, a flying wing pattern with radar-absorbing skin designed to minimize detection, was likely tasked with covert surveillance to support the raid and capture Maduro and any related kinetic operations. And now here's the thing, right? If you have a stealth drone, you want to see if it works. You basically send it into the areas where it should be detected, right? If they don't act like they detect it, you send it in further, right? So basically, you just kind of keep inching it in until they should be fucking shooting at it. No matter what it is, if they see it, though, they would shoot at it, right? And then they don't shoot at it, and you bring it out. So you know it works. So then, like, you could have this fucking thing basically operating over top of them during the entire fight, giving you basically real-time ISR, both SIGINT and actual FMV. That's a full motion video feed. So
I am very curious why they have the VFR lights on. That is
because it's not as secret as it used to be. So if this is the RQ, if it is the RQ-70, I mean, it's already been disclosed. Not a lot of details about it.
Right, but it's literally in theater conducting a mission, and it's got its.
No, this is in Puerto Rico.
No.
Okay. Sorry.
It's like file footage. Yeah.
Well, that explains it. Okay.
No. This footage actually, Joe, is it returning after the mission, early in the morning in Puerto Rico.
By the way, hold on. If you guys want, you can literally hear roosters crowing in the video.
And thus far, there's been no confirmation from the Department of War that the RQ-70 was involved in yesterday's operation in Venezuela. So, as one does. By the way, did you guys see Maduro wearing that blue hoodie pullover? You know, when he posed with the pictures with all the. Evidently, that's like what is it? The Navy SEAL commander who's now an influencer. He's real.
Yeah, and he said, guy. "Hey, why 9-line or whatever?" I think he's like, "Hey, why is he wearing our hoodie?"
Yeah. So I guess he has a brand of clothing, and that's a hoodie from his brand of clothing. So I thought that was kind of ironic. All right, let's see what we got next here.
Packed a bag of Maduro's clothes from Maduro's house.
Yeah. I am Uncle Bob R for $5. Sean went through the Maduro indictment. Worth your time? Yeah, I probably will check that out. I don't have time to go through it, so somebody smart like Sean going through it will.
It was Jocko's. It was
Jocko Willett.
Oh, that's even funnier.
The worst part was that the one that I want everyone to know is that they charged him with possession of machine guns, which is, first of all, a stretch. Second of all, if they're willing to charge Nicolas Maduro with it, think about what they'll do to you.
Facts. Yeah, that's a really chicken shit one to bring up, and it's got Pam Bondi written all over it, in my opinion, even though it happened before.
It does. And I don't understand how you charge a foreign leader with machine gun possession, because they all buy machine guns for their military. It's kind of the way that it works.
Well, Scott, you asked what we had next, and I have to do a little bow here, because what we had next is something that I feel I personally memed into existence.
Oh yeah. Well, so here's the thing. I didn't see him in that van. These are just the guards, right?
They wouldn't open the van like that from a security perspective.
That was really to enable the door gunners to return fire if they got attacked.
Yeah.
Because it's not like
I think he was in the black SUV in front of the van.
I'll bet he wasn't in that caravan at all, but in a different one entirely. This was a distraction.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're
People
probably
are
right.
saying that's him right there, though.
No,
there's no way. Because you'd be able to see him here, and I don't see him there.
They wouldn't have exposed someone like him that much in New York City.
Especially New York City, yeah. That's hilarious. I think it's funny to have the red lights on in there, Joe. You know, it's like, you know, the old preserve the night vision. This next one, I think, is kind of gets back to what we were talking about earlier in the show. The Don Rowe doctrine, fall of Maduro sends oil stocks soaring. This is what you'd call those third order effects. Brent crude futures are a little changed early Monday, following President Trump's special operation involving what they're calling it. Like, I get the feeling they're trying to make a Russia illusion there.
Special military operation.
Yeah. Delta Force commandos that removed the socialist leader Nicolas Maduro from power in Venezuela. While crude futures showed a muted reaction, U.S. energy equities surged in pre-market trading. I wonder why. By the way, did you guys see that somebody right before the mission made a big win on Polymarket?
Gents, real quick, somebody just gave me the answer as to why the machine gun charges make sense. And as soon as they said it, I'm like, oh, of course.
Why?
He was shipping machine guns to TDA members in the United States.
Oh, in the United States. Well, that would make sense.
But that's not what he charged him with, though. They didn't charge him with illegal importation. So,
true.
Whatever. They can do whatever they want.
You're with possession. That's true.
But
I think the charges are almost irrelevant.
I find the U.S. law to be relevant, especially firearms law. So I'm not going to call it irrelevant, but.
All right, back to this here. Chevron and ExxonMobil are amongst the best positioned to reveal lead the revival of the Venezuelan oil industry under a new geopolitical net framework, which we have described as Western Hemisphere defense, or in what some are recently dubbed the Don Rowe doctrine. Chevy jumped as much as 10% on pre-market trading. In New York, ConocoPhillips up 5%, ExxonMobil up 3%. If the roughly 7% gains for Chevron hold in the cash session, this would mark the company's largest daily increase since the late summer 2022. Let's see. Chevron emerges as the clear beneficiary from any shift in Venezuela's political sanctions landscape, as it's the only U.S. major still producing there, pumping roughly 200 to 250 barrels a day under a U.S. license with infrastructure and export routes in place. A more accommodating regime could allow Chevron to ramp up production export more freely to U.S. coastal refineries, and recover billions owed by the PDVSA. What's their national oil company in Venezuela? ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips have legal claims rather than near-term operational upside, with the former holding an outstanding arbitration award of more than $1 billion, and the latter having secured awards exceeding $10 billion, including interest. The U.S.-aligned government could prioritize claims settled. Broader oil equities would be at a disadvantage, as increased Venezuela supplies would pressure prices. I think it's rather technical going into the article, and I'm not going to read any of that stuff because I don't need to know if I would get it. My oil education ends at like Landman, right? Like, you know, the Billy Bob Thornton series. That's, if it's not in there, I don't know much about it. All right. Oh, we got that in there twice. All right. So that's it, guys. That's all I got for today. Let's go around the horn. Joe, looking at the recent past, what do you think is going to happen in the near future? Are we talking Iran bombing campaign by Wednesday, or what do you think?
I don't know that we're going to do any Iran bombing. I think that we'll put assets in place in case there's a regime change that needs some support or a little nudge, but I don't see us doing anything to try and enforce that. I do think that the other shoe is yet to drop. Ironically, Friday, when we said the other shoe is going to drop at some point in Venezuela, it dropped almost immediately. There has to be some sort of official Venezuelan government response to this, and there hasn't been yet. It being Monday now, there probably will be. Adorable dog, Blaine Pardo.
Yeah.
But there does need to be some sort of Venezuelan response, so we shall see what that is. I'd watch for that. I'd also watch for the asymmetrics from both Iran and Venezuela.
Yeah. Blaine, what's your take on what's going on in the world? You think the next thing will be one of these two areas, or is it going to be a third completely off the radar flashpoint that we're not even?
I think they still have issues in Venezuela with the military and with the vice president still in power there. So I would expect almost a second wave, because Trump dropped the hint on that. And Trump always broadcasts stuff that there may be a second wave. If there is, it'll be to decapitate the military, and that'll bring about the end of this regime. I think the real thing that is going to be more on the domestic side. This thing of Tim Walz announcing that he's not going to run, it tells me that they have tracked the money to him. Because why else would he step down? Why else would he step down? Yeah. Other than to run for president? And there's no way that little turd's going to ever win. So, this is going to, I think that there's a little bit of panic going on in Minnesota. And I think that's going to be another area where we may see some action. But then again, it's Pam Bondi, so don't hold your breath.
Yeah. Hey, Watcher, I just dropped a story. By the way, this is more like private Mark Kelly in the near future.
Seaman.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
Is that, like, but people shouldn't assume
whatever that is.
Yeah, people shouldn't assume that he's going to go from captain to the next rank down. That's not generally how that works.
They would probably take away his commission. It would be the first thing they do, and then downgrade him to basically nothing. It says here, Venezuela's interim president bends the knee as Maduro arraignment in New York City, New York court imminent. So that didn't take long. At the moment, Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Flores, are set to appear before a new New York federal judge on various drug trafficking and gun running related charges. His VP and now apparently interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, is offering a huge olive branch. This is unsurprising given the staunch socialist pro-Maduro number 2 under the this is unsurprising given the staunch socialist pro-Maduro number 2 under the ousted president is herself under immense pressure from Washington and still facing down the barrel of Uncle Sam's gun, or rather the collective might of Presidents of the Pentagon's persistent U.S. naval blockade just off the Latin American coast. That's another thing, Joe. They haven't pulled back all those ships that they parked off the coast.
Correct, and they extended the NOTAM and a few other things. So
she quickly expressed her willingness to cooperate with the United States on the future of Venezuela in a significant shift in tone following Maduro's Friday into Saturday morning shock abductions. We consider it a priority to move towards a balanced and respectful relationship between the United States and Venezuela, she wrote. And more than that, her following words convey willingness of Caracas to bend the knee. We extend an invitation to the U.S. government to work together on a cooperation agenda aimed at shared development within the framework of international law and to strengthen lasting community coexistence. Well, she's out. First of all, she's going to have to fucking, that'll be one of the things that you and all your fucking
see. I don't take that statement as positive as they do. She's calling us out on not being balanced and respectful towards them.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying.
Well,
she's literally quoting Maduro. I mean, he said the same thing a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, let me read this right here. Nicolas Maduro, the ousted president, Venezuelan president, and his wife are expected to appear at noon on Monday in federal court in Manhattan to face charges of drug trafficking and other crimes. 2 days after they were captured by the U.S. military, they were escorted. This is okay. I'm trying to get to her. Wait, what she said. President Trump has warned that if authorities in Venezuela failed to cooperate, the United States will carry out a second strike on Venezuela, noting that any decisions to deploy ground troops there would depend on how the situation develops and how Venezuela responds. He has also, meanwhile, said that the idea of launching an operation involving Colombia sounds good to him in the comments Sunday, describing the country as being in serious trouble and claiming that it's currently led by a sick man, and even suggesting that he won't remain in power.
After you asked me what I thought, and I was like, oh, and by the way, Gustavo Petro should shut his mouth lest the Donald decide to take him up on his offer.
Exactly right.
Like when Cuba was getting all uppity this weekend, I was like, you really want to go there?
It was actually Colombia who was requested at an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council and set also for Monday. The South American country is a non-permanent member of the council and was supported by permanent members China and Russia. Meanwhile, the theft of Venezuelan assets has begun, with the Swiss government moving on Monday to freeze any holdings of Maduro and his associates with immediate effect. In doing so, the Federal Council aims at prevent the outflow of assets. Should future legal proceedings reveal that the funds were illicitly acquired, Switzerland will endeavor to ensure that they benefit the Venezuelan people.
The theft of Venezuelan assets has begun. Somebody in Russia wrote this article.
Watcher, did you hear how many Bitcoin evidently the Venezuelans have?
I knew it was a lot because they had
600,000.
Yeah, they
the
had
third most of any group, I think, in the world, and the most of any country. So
yeah, and they invested
and they mostly
back when
they
when it was
back
6, when I was in. Yeah, well, even before that, yeah.
Well, the average price for their Bitcoin is per Bitcoin is $6,000. So I would imagine eventually we will get our hands on that as well. All right. That's all I got. All right, Blaine, you had your Watcher. You're up.
I think you need to have your eyes glued domestically. I think that the action is being taken in foreign because that's where he has the ability. Trump and the rest of them have the ability to move unilaterally because the previous administrations had so thoroughly empowered the executive and never expected to lose control of it that there's really not much they can do besides kvetch. So he's making movements where he can, but domestically that's pissing off the leftists. And if you remember what we've been saying all last year, where it really does seem like his point of view is, hey, we're going to force the leftists to kick off, and that way we end up, the ones who look like the reasonable people. I'm just saying, I think some of this is by design, and unfortunately that means the leftists are going to get really angry and they're going to start probably killing more people. Of course, it's not like they weren't going to do that anyway.
Yeah, I mean that's their kind of go-to move. Well, let's kill people.
But yeah, we didn't really talk about it that much, unfortunately. But with the docks of the Delta operators that went down, or the attempted docks of the Delta operators, because thank God it turns out he got the wrong information in the first place. Although, hope that other guy's got a security detail now. That information, I've already seen it flying around Antifa Telegram networks and that kind of shit. Like the wrong information. That guy, they are going to go after that guy. They're looking to kill people right now, guys. They're just looking for a good enough symbol of what we just did that it makes them feel good about it. So I would watch your local networks like a hawk. I think there's a lot of little froggies that are feeling like it's time to jump.
Yeah, no, I think you're on to something there, Joe. I've got a meme here that should speak directly to you. Let me share it here. How much did you pay for that 911?
I don't own that. How much did you pay for that HK?
How much did you pay for that pistol?
Good.
This is all Be Prepared's fault.
Oh, I'm just saying, sometimes it hits close to home, these internet memes.
Oh, that one's solid, man.
If she had
thank
blonde
you.
hair, that would be it. Yes.
I want to say thank you to Squishy Hunter in the chat for dropping that one. That is a fire one. By the way, I also want to say thank you to all of the new friends I'm seeing in the chat. Katie here, we met her, and Mr. K, and Radcon Hazard, and several others from when Sean ported his chat into ours for the special on this weekend. So always good to have some new friends in the chat. So we appreciate you guys for being here. I know it's a little early for most people to do a little YouTubing, but hey, in the morning is a good time. You sit there, listen to your coffee, fuck Fox and Friends, fuck all those, mainstream media. Council on Future Conflicts. We'll give you the stories that you're not hearing anywhere else, and then we'll also share funny memes as well. I'm just saying, we got it all. We got it all. And Joe, they can learn stuff from us too. I mean, sometimes we have wisdom tactical wisdom to give the people.
Yeah. We could share a little tactical wisdom. It's okay.
I'm sorry, but every time I hear somebody say "give it to the people" nowadays, I can only hear that Middle Eastern man's words. But the people are retarded.
Joe, every time I see HRE, I always think Holy Roman Empire.
Well, I just typed the word here wrong. Thank you for
I know.
But Crocodile Broccoli said they didn't understand that joke, that meme. Let's just put it bluntly. I sometimes make purchases without consulting the woman who lives here, and I pay for it.
Yeah,
in many ways.
Most famously, once I asked her, "Hey, honey, do we take rifles as payment for classes?" And she said, "Absolutely not." And then when I came home with the rifle, she said, "I thought I said no," and I said, "I made an executive decision." Apparently, I'm not actually in charge here.
Well, I mean, at least and know your role in the relationship.
And yet I keep coming home.
By the way, Squishy Hunter, I wanted to say bravo to some of the other stuff that you have posted in the fan chat. I won't mention what it is. I'm just saying bravo.
Yes. I did Jay Clark. I just can never remember that dude's name.
Yes.
Let's see. By the way, you know who is Katie has become Katie here in the chat has become a real MVP. She's been tagging me on all kinds of stuff over the weekend. So just want to say thank you. More than one of those things led me to stuff for the story. So basically, she tagged me in the UN Security Council meeting on Venezuela live on C-SPAN. Something I definitely will not watch. But it probably, if you're into that kind of thing, it will probably be a fucking hoot. So maybe consider giving that a look. All right, guys, that's all I got. Thank you for being here with me. Chat, you guys were awesome as always. Blaine, thank you for dropping in. Joe, Watcher, as always, you guys are back to cleaning up to my fumble fucking around. So I thank you. We will be back here on Wednesday, as always. So until then, stay safe.